All right, we're back on
That sounded good.
Salient Points number 71. This one's for June 7th, 2022. Yeah, we're already starting off things correctly, right, Dalan? We kind of couldn't get the 3-2-1 down pat, but that's fine. I'm
Both of these issues were on your side, by the way.
Possibly. No. One of these. So I'm Carlos Macias, the commander at arms, or whatever we're calling me. Thank you for joining us this week. If we didn't get the comments in, maybe on time, maybe they were busy, whatever it is, but we miss you guys. Was it Matthew and Jet? We'll give them a shout out. So we expect your comments out there, and we'll try to get some more things going on here. As per usual, go to youtube.com or go to wegotcoms.com. Click around there. Go to the
Where are you
go
going?
go to the YouTube. So click subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff, and we'll throw you guys into the show.
Hey man, it's Monday. This is what
That's
happens.
what I was gonna say. So we got Dalan Kirkwood as per usual up in the mountains. Dalan, you before we started recording, man, you're like it's Monday, and I was like, you've been having a rough one, and you said it's been a couple of days like that. So the Mondays have been stacking up on you, huh?
It has. I need more sleep.
Oh wow, okay. You are an adult, sir. You are in control of your own sleep schedule.
Not when D&D shows up.
All of a sudden, we blaming Stranger Things. Luis Mendez on the Wheels of Steel. Thank you for
Because
joining
that's
us.
the only place D&D exists.
Yeah. In mainstream media. In mainstream media. Well, thanks, Luis, for joining us. Well, this is one of those shows that we did get something nice this past week. It was PlayStation's State of Play. It's kind of the headline this week, which, of course, I don't know. I might throw it in there somewhere, but it's from, my favorite guy from Resident Evil 4 is the shopkeeper guy, where he opens up his jacket and he's like, what are you buying? What are you selling? That's we'll get a little more taste of that. We did get for as far as the State of Play, the big thing was Resident Evil 4 Remake is officially announced. We had heard some rumblings about it already, right? But it's actually officially coming out March 24, 2023. And to quote, Capcom or whatever the statement was that they put out, they said, quote, "This is being done by reimagining the storyline of the game while keeping the essence of its direction, modernizing the graphics, and updating the controls to a modern standard." Which is to say, I know we've joked about it in the past, but we heard that the story was done in like a matter of a couple weeks, right? Like we like to say, the guy was sitting on the can, just on toilet paper, just writing out the story for Resident Evil 4. So maybe this means they kind of have a chance to kind of clean it up a little bit, right? Pun fully intended, Dalan. The other thing is they did say PlayStation VR, PlayStation VR 2 content is coming for Resident Evil 4 at some point. The key word there, I'm sure, is content, right? They didn't say the full game is going to be in PSVR 2, which Resident Evil Village, that one is expected to we're expected to get a full game out of that. But Dalan, what do you think, man? Are you hyped about this? What are you buying situation? Are you buying? I guess I could say.
Am I buying? I would. Well, I finally saw the actual little mini trailer that they had for it. Well, I don't even know if you can call it a mini trailer. There's a good amount of video being shown there, but it honestly looks good. I mean, Resident Evil 4 has been re-released too many times in the same context with blockier images. I think at some point it got released on Nintendo 64 and it still looked terrible.
Wait, Resident Evil 4?
No.
Are you
That was
talking about
Resident Evil 2 that got
Okay.
yeah, 2 got
Hates of the
released on
Mondays
the
indeed.
64, man. Hey man, I'm just saying Resident Evil 4
Okay.
got released so many times I can't even remember if it got released on Nintendo 64.
Okay.
But
Reasonable.
but having it actually be remade and having them revamp the story, I talked about it before. I was down to see how it would turn out, and it looks like it's turned out pretty damn good. I don't know if it's gonna be like scary like Resident Evil 7 and 8 type of scary, but
Well, I'm
I'm
sure
down to
that's
play
part of it, right? Like someone didn't like write the story out on the can this time around, right? They're actually, I don't know how much of a revamp it'll be, honestly, right? But I think they'll clean it up a little bit, make the story a little deeper, a little bit better. But I think one of the things with the Resident Evil 4, it just feels modern. It looks, if you think back on it, it's like the most modern Resident Evil, right? It's kind of
It
where
really
it was a
is.
prototype for everything to come after that, as we've spoken about before. So
But then we
but it looks
unfortunately
nice.
got 5 and 6.
But it, yeah, those were rough. 5 was cool because you did punch a boulder at one point, so that was kind of cool. That
The
was
Boulder
pretty
had
exciting.
little to do with it. They just had more horror aspects
Eh,
to Resident Evil 5 than
yeah.
6 did. Because when 6 had its thing going, you weren't afraid of anything in that game. You were just like, I have all the weapons, everything's exploding, and I'm just running and doing all the QTEs.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 5, you actually had to slow down. Lickers were coming out of the yin yang, and they could very much murder you.
Yeah, it introduced co-op, right? And it introduced an interesting little racial dynamic that at the time, I don't know if you guys were following no, not even Sheva. We're talking about the villagers or whatever. They're like, this is uncomfortable to me. If you remember the trailers and all that when that came out. So I remember there was a whole kind of big discussion around the game when it dropped, which is kind of interesting. I think people kind of got over it, but it's still... Just be careful. Just be careful, Resident Evil. But yeah, so we're getting that March 24th, 2023. You're not so sure, Dalan? I'm grabbing it.
No. Once I saw this, I was like, I'm sure. As soon as this new trailer came out, I was like, yes, I'm going to grab this.
Luis, are you grabbing this? Resident Evil 4 Remake?
No.
Okay.
Of course not.
Reasonable. I think the
last
last time...
I don't need another rendition of Resident Evil. Stop playing Resident Evil. We need Resident Evil... Whatever.
I think
put the camera on Dalan. Put the camera on.
Come on, Dalan, the camera's
we
on.
need Resident Evil 9. Stop going back to the old games.
Nah, we're good, dude. I'll keep getting remakes.
Yeah, I know.
Look, when GTA gets to like 7, 8, or 9, I'll be like, whatever, man. Do your thing. But at least you gave us a bunch of campaigns. Thank you, Rockstar. But no, I mean, as far as Resident, I think the last time we talked about it was the fact that this game is kind of old. It's like, what is it? Almost 20 years old. So... you know, we could use a new one. We could use a fresh new take on it. Plus, they already remade everything else, Dalan. Like you said, it's on N64 even. Next thing on here, the reveal Street Fighter 6, and that's actually coming out for Xbox as well. That's coming out in 2023. Dalan, was the Street Fighter 5 was like a PlayStation exclusive? Or like for a while, or what? Because they seem to make it a big deal, either a big deal or just the fact that this was on a PlayStation stream, and they're like, no, it's also coming to Xbox or.
When it originally launched, it was a PlayStation exclusive. For the most part, all the other Street Fighter games before Street Fighter 5 were basically Super Nintendo or were Nintendo and PlayStation, and then it was Nintendo and PlayStation. Then they moved to just PlayStation. And now they're like, all right, we're just going to have it be across the platform.
Yeah, which, I mean, why not, right? I know one of the details that came out of it was that it will have a, quote, an immersive single-player story, end quote. And part of it was like, I don't know if you saw some of the comments on this, but they're talking about, like, My 2K mode. They got a feel for that, or what is it called? You're a 2K player out here, right? What's that, My Player or My 2K mode or whatever it is?
Yeah, My Career, basically.
Did you see a little bit of this game? That's what people were saying. Like, this gave me those kind of vibes.
I didn't know what was happening because when the trailer popped up and they didn't announce it was Street Fighter and I didn't see Ryu or Chun-Li or nothing like that, the guy was just running through the city. I was like, oh, are they making a boxing game? This looks like a good boxing game. I might actually do this. One with a career mode and stuff. But then Chun-Li showed up. I was like, oh.
Oh, you were upset. You want a little boxing game. Go back to Knockout Kings 2002, Dalan. That was probably on N64 too. I'll put it to you that way. All right.
No, the last time I saw a fighting game try to do a career mode was Tekken, and even they took it out and they were like, "Nah, we can't do this no more."
Well, I mean, Mortal Kombat, man. Mortal Kombat and what's the other Underworld? Not Overworld. What's the DC one? The DC one.
Injustice.
Injustice. They did a story mode. They did a nice little.
No, what I mean is like an adventure mode. Tekken 7 was the last one that I remember that did an adventure mode where they actually had side scrolling. It was like a little beat 'em up. But most fighting games don't do stuff like that.
Yeah, well, like I said, there's a couple of big ones that have done it recently. But in general, the stalwarts, the classic ones.
Hey, you're mixing up the difference between story mode and adventure mode. They're two different things, man.
I mean, it's a quote by Capcom saying an immersive single player story, right? They're making a story, man.
No, I'm talking about the fact that it's not an adventure mode. Damn, I gotta.
You'll be fine.
You know what?
You'll be fine.
It's Monday.
But you do have the case of the Mondays indeed. You do have the case of the Mondays indeed. Because you would go down the rabbit hole normally, and you're really like not trying to go down that path. But that's
you
fine.
Obviously okay. So you didn't play the other Tekken. Yes, I'm coming back to it. You didn't play the other Tekken games, so you always call them Shaolin Monks would be more of an adventure mode. Okay. All right, you have this whole stage that you have to go through from left to right. What was it that we just recently played? Streets of Rage. How you had to go through an entire stage. That's what Tekken did at some point.
Okay,
Fighting
gotcha.
games don't normally do that. Yes, they might have a little bit of a story that they throw into all the you won, now there's a little cutscene, but they never actually had like huge
I mean,
adventure
let's not
modes like
forget about
Tekken did.
Mortal Kombat, like the Shaolin
Mortal
Kings
Kombat did an
or Sub
entirely
Zero.
separate game, and they never did it again.
Especially Sub Zero. The co-op Shaolin whatever, that one was kind of cool. That one was kind of
Yeah,
cool.
the
But the
Shaolin
Sub Zero
monks.
one was very failedproject.com. The next thing though, that there is some Street Fighter, just real quick, and then we'll move on to the juicy stuff that you want to get to, Dalen, which is Ken's life falling apart, right? But another quick thing from this thing is that there was a
His
leak.
life is crumbling. It's
So
not
there was
falling
so there was a Street Fighter 6 leak, right? So we know that there's going to be at least 22 fighters as part of the roster, and there's some game footage that released. My favorite thing about all this is that Capcom came out and said, you guys saw some things that, quote, things we weren't supposed to see. So we were not supposed to see that. So it's kind of like, well, no, duh, it's a leak, Capcom. But I do like that they come out and confirm the leaks, right? Basically, that we're gonna have 22 fighters, or at least as far as the images are concerned, and some game footage. But Dalen, so the big thing about that, actually, first before we get to Ken's crumbling life, real quick, what did you think about like what the game looked like? See, you're the fighting game aficionado on here. Even though you believe Tekken is great, even though it's $1 combo, but I still give it to you, Dalen. You know you're the fighting game master around here. What did you think?
I don't know if you're gonna be upset at this, Carlos, but the gameplay looked like they were actually putting some Tekken mechanics into the game, because it's not just like you gotta punch and then you gotta figure out where the break is in order to get the next hit. In this one, it actually looks like they included combos more like Injustice. And it very much looked more like Tekken, dial a combo, then throw a super or a special in there. So it's going to be, if they actually do that, then it's going to be far more, what is the word I'm looking for? It's going to be far more inclusive for newcomers of the Street Fighter genre.
You keep saying inclusive, and what I keep hearing you saying it's more dial a combo-y. I guess that's inclusive.
Yeah, I know, that's the thing.
I
you're
guess
gonna
that's
hate.
inclusive, Dalen. They got, well, look, they all can't be Virtual Fighter, all right? I guess we're just gonna have to accept that, right? But Dalen, we're getting to your favorite segment here, Ken's crumbling life, dude. What is happening to this man? We got some detail. I don't know if this was from the leak. This is like sort of official stuff too, right? That's coming out of this.
It's just one of those things that it comes along the way of, if you follow the story, you'll see the way that Ken's life is rolled out. Like he was a young badass kid with blonde hair, rich as hell, and he was like, you know what, I want to learn how to fight because I got picked on. So he got sent to the dojo and met Ryu, and then he wanted to be strong like Ryu, but he never felt like he was strong enough. And I'm gonna read what this guy.
This is story. Hold on, this is story going back to like the original Super Nintendo game lore.
So okay. This is like original lore. It went way back, and at some point he ended up getting married, but he still didn't feel like he was strong enough, so he decided he was going to quit, but then he came back and he decided to train a little bit, and he felt weak again. So I'm going to go ahead and read what this guy on Twitter wrote. What was his name? At Daily F Giddle. His English was not the greatest, so I'm gonna read his statements.
He said, you know, sorry for the bad grammar, but wait, but why does
I'm gonna read that bad grammar verbatim?
So he does have two people on here. Garrow Terry, that's Ken? No, that's something else.
No. That is Fatal Fury, Terry McGinnis.
Yeah. He's just making the comparison to what happened to Ken, right after he got married.
Yeah, because in Fatal Fury or King of Fighters, Terry. He never got married, but he had himself a wonderful life. He felt that he was the strongest person, like no matter what happened. He was basically the Goku of his series. All right. But in this one,
the lore goes deep, dude. The lore goes deep.
The lore goes. I'm not gonna get into.
But
Terry,
let's focus into Ken. Yeah, let's focus on what's going on with Ken here.
But for Ken, by the time we get to Street Fighter V, he was married, feel not strong enough, and want to be like Ryu. Only focus on training and abandoned his family outright. This boy had a child. He had a child. He had a little girl.
Okay, reasonable.
Divorced Eliza, take his kid away.
Okay.
So Eliza was his wife, and she was the one he had the kid with, and there was a whole segment. She was
this
in
was a Street Fighter
2 movie. This was Street Fighter 2.
Oh, Okay,
Oh,
damn, dude, I should have paid attention. I was just trying to get next on the machine, man. I was just like, let me pick Ken real quick. Let me just beat some characters up. Continue. Dylan.
Actually, I'll be more specific. Street Fighter 2, he had been married. Street Fighter 3, they were having problems. By the time they got to Street Fighter 5, divorce.
All right, okay.
He took the kid away. Then there was some side comics that actually explained all that.
Took the kid that he abandoned away, right?
Oh, so did he abandon him, or did they take the child? Which one, Dalan? This is a key fact.
Eliza divorced him and left him because she felt abandoned. That's what it was.
Oh,
he didn't put the greatest English part here.
It's because he focused so much on training that they.
Yeah, he went back to training because then Bison came back. He was like, "Nah, I gotta go back with Ryu. Our love runs deep."
All right, got you. All right, okay, Dylan. Okay, we're caught up, man. This is deep. This is deep. What happened?
But then after he got divorced and his wife left him and he couldn't see his child, last note, depressed until he struggled to do fiery Shoryuken Reppa. I can't even pronounce that. Shoyu Reppa. She took the kids.
So he struggled to do his special. That's the uppercut fire.
Fire uppercut. His signature fire uppercut. He had a hard time doing it for the longest time, so it's not as strong as it used to be.
Okay.
Because he was able to make pillars of fire. If you remember Marvel vs. Capcom 2, he was just taking up the whole screen with the flames he had.
Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was my jam, dude. Mainly because it's a button masher, but there was lore in that too regarding Ken's future and all this. Okay. Damn, should have been paying attention, dude. I don't know where you find the lore, and that's not in the game for sure, right? But
it's like the lore in Destiny.
The lore in Destiny. Okay, so
try and follow the lore of like the original Street Fighter 2, original Street Fighter 3. You're gonna be reading those texts at the end like, I don't understand how these connect. They completely don't connect.
Yeah, I just thought
they outright contradict each other. So which one's true?
So did Street Fighter 6, from what we can tell, has that added a wrinkle to it, or why is it coming up now? I guess just because, you know, or what does 6 do as far as you know?
6. Okay, so Street Fighter 4 was supposed to be like, I believe that was the prequel. I believe that was the starting of the prequel, because it was Street Fighter 1, 2, and 3, and that was supposed to essentially be the end of the story. But then 4 and 5 dropped, and they did prequels to the story, and now 6 is jumping to the future. So this is now taking place after 3, and so now we're having a bunch of new characters come in. So there's going to be a bunch of youngsters and kids of other characters. I would love to see Ryu's daughter, no, not Ryu's, Ken's daughter show up in this game. That would be excellent.
All right. Well, Dalan, thank you for that rundown, because it's Ken's dealing with some shit, dude. We'll just put it like that.
Ken is dealing with his life. He made some poor life choices after he became.
He was training, dude. He wanted to be as good as Ryu. He just could never. He
wanted
to
be able to defend people against the weak, which is part of what made him great.
Yeah.
And then he got married, settled down, was still rich, and then he just stopped caring after that. He was like, "No, I need to go back to being strong because I'm still too rich to care about what's happening in real life."
Have you guys seen that one show? That's why I love that show so much. Was it Peacemaker? With John Cena or whatever on HBO.
Yeah.
No spoilers, but my favorite thing is like he's like, I want to defend peace, whatever it takes. I'll murder whoever it takes to defend peace and freedom. Like, okay, that's reasonable. So there's nice little contradictions, right? And I did this same thing playing Vice City. That's in what you've been playing, a little teaser. But that was a nice little contradiction to what was happening there. We'll move on, Dalan. Or unless you got anything else real quick, Dalan, to finish up on the Ken's fall from grace.
And his life is crumbling. He's a bit depressed. Leave the man alone. Let him live his life. Try and help him find a new girlfriend. But that's not the point.
Well, he's gonna defend defenseless people. That's his goal. All right. Next thing on here, I'm a little surprised you weren't too hyped about this one, Dalan. But Final Fantasy 16, they finally gave us a little release date, summer 2023. I feel like that one's gonna hit. It might be pushed a month or two, but I feel like that one's gonna hit.
There's a difference between being hyped and already being ready. I'm at that point where I'm like, all right, Blackout, I'm down. I'm going to play the game.
Okay.
We got a year.
We got a year, Dylan.
We got a year. That's fine. I'm going to play it as soon as it drops.
Have you seen anything about it so far, I suppose? Like, from what you've seen, does it's got you hyped?
Yes, it's very much more grounded in regards to what the Final Fantasy world is. Unlike Noctis, who was flying around with his magic one go weapon that could just fly across the screen. Noctis could fly. I don't know what he needed a flying car for, or why they needed to upgrade the car to a flying car.
Hey, I was about to say, I
Hey, maybe he
wasn't.
needs passengers.
Hey, yeah, and then the passengers are just hanging out, dude. It's like boys going on a field trip, dude, on a cross country trip. You know, they're just doing that thing. But Final Fantasy 16, some new footage out there. It looks amazing. It looks, maybe this is what you're referring to. It looks a little more high fantasy, and I don't like that. But I'll mess with it. I'll mess with it, Dalan. All right.
Hey man, they got their war going. They got actual factions and stuff like that. It looks like it's got an actual story, because Final Fantasy 15 was like, you get through 8 chapters, and then after that you just kind of run to the end of the game, and they skipped 10 years.
I think if they market this game right, like to the Elden Ring and the Game of Thrones crowd and all that thing, I think it's got a chance to sell gangbusters, dude. I think it could do well. But we'll see. We'll see how they market it, right? Next thing on here, and you know, this is Sony keeps making a case for that PlayStation Plus Premium, but Stray is coming out July 19th. That's going to be part of this PlayStation Plus Premium, and I'm like, I gotta look at what's getting trophies. But they're starting to push me. They're starting to push me at least for like a month of this thing when Stray comes out. That's my new deadline here, July 19th. Luis, we haven't heard from you since the beginning of the pod, but that's fine. What do you think of Stray, man? What's going on?
I've said a few things here and there.
Okay.
Well, I don't know why you would pay for a month of it for this game if it would be more expensive. I think.
Well, how much is
I'm
this
not
game?
sure.
Do we know the price of this game? I guess.
Actually, you
kinda
know what? It
depends.
might be about the same, and I guess you get some PS1
all of a
trophies in
sudden.
the meantime
All of a sudden.
if you finish that game.
That's
But I think more than anything, rather than them trying to steer people to PlayStation Plus, well, it's Plus, Premium, what enhanced, whatever
Extra,
they're called.
extra.
We just add whatever we want to it, dude. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Rather than them trying to steer you into that subscription, I think they're just trying to set this game and developer up for success, to like try to get in front of as many eyes as possible, because this is their first actual like title out there.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know if it'll get me to get a subscription, but I'm actually going to check this game out. I don't know if day one, but I'll
Yeah.
get it at some point.
It looks pretty cool. It actually does
yeah,
look
it
pretty cool. Now, is this because you yourself have a cat, or no? That it's separate.
It
from
has
that?
nothing to
Okay,
do with the fact
okay.
that I own a cat. It just looks
Okay.
like an interesting sort of maybe a little Tale of Despero with a cat edition. I'm
Okay,
not sure,
No.
but it seems a little more parkoury, which is interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll check it
It
out.
looks pretty cool. Dan, your thoughts on Stray, man? What do you think?
It straight up looks like a puzzle game, so I figured it's just going to be an entire puzzle / detective type game, because you got to talk to people. But for me, it's not so much about the game that's coming out; it's the fact that it's dropping day one as the game launches. So I was like, wait, didn't PlayStation kind of say they don't want to put brand new games day one
They
out
said
on their
AAA.
service?
They said AAA, Dan, or Quad A,
I mean,
as we call it on the podcast.
So what is this? Double A? Is this A quality? They've been putting this trailer everywhere. What do they consider?
I think that to me, this is just a personal opinion here. It looks like a 2.5A. 2.5A to me. I will put it there. But you know what? I think it really is more to, I think what Luis just mentioned, actually, the fact that let's put this out there. Because if you guys remember, Rocket League blew up because it was a free part of like PlayStation Plus, right? That was really like its big thing. And probably because they had a better name than super high-powered rocket launch ships from space or whatever the original title was.
Supersonic, acrobatic, rocket-powered battle cars.
There you go.
Oh,
there you go.
snaps.
That's a Rocket League is a much better title. Even
It's
as
very
cool.
concise.
Yes, concise. As cool as that original one is, that Luis knows. Rocket League is just more concise, and they put it on PlayStation Plus, and it kind of blew up. So maybe Stray, it'll help that out, and they don't have to necessarily go back on their statement, right? That we don't want to put AAA things because they're putting a 2.5A game up there.
Hey, Luis, congratulations on the useless ass piece of information.
Whoa,
Hey,
whoa,
man,
whoa!
it's one of the
whoa.
songs in the game.
Uh,
It's one of the
I know.
songs in Rocket League.
Let me
It's
get
the
that
Player
theme.
anthems.
It's the theme from it.
I gotta say something real quick though.
And it's
Daily-
a PS1 game, so maybe it's in the
Wait, no.
enhanced.
No, it's not a
maybe.
PS1. It's a PS3 game.
Yes.
PS3 game.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's a PS3 game.
Carlos, good. I'll give you props on your useless ass piece of information.
Yeah, I was gonna say though, to defend Luis and to defend myself right now from under attack. You're one to talk, Dalan. Talk about I know Ken's history starting from Street Fighter 2 to current times. But
hey man, that's just called being a fan.
The next
were you a fan of the Super Hyper Battle Cars or whatever the hell it was?
I don't think I've played it, dude. You know the wacky.
All right, there you go.
You know the wacky levels from Rocket League are like the dumb, like not asymmetric or whatever. They're actually a lot of them are from that game. Like they're
you're talking about the nets that are not actually in the wall, and you have to go around
like
them,
the
and it takes
different
forever
wacky
to
ones.
make the goal.
Yeah, not all of them, but some of the wacky ones came from that original PS3 game. And I know Lisa. Yeah, can I get a confirmation, Lisa? Little PS3 game.
I didn't look it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't look it up.
That's fine.
I can see what these graphics looked like on this old one, but I'll come back to that later.
The next thing we have on here, Callisto. Okay, no confirmation, but that's fine. The next thing,
I'm pretty sure it's Callisto Protocol.
Oh, damn.
Callisto Protocol.
Okay, you guys might be right. I missed it on the rundown here. Callisto Protocol, and it's from ex Dead Space developers, so it does kind of looks pretty cool. I saw some of the trailer on the State of Play. They said it's coming out this year, December 2, 2022. It looks nice and spooky. Dalan, I know you're a fan of the Dead Space, franchise. What did this give you Dead Space vibes better than Dead Space?
Oh man, I straight up thought it was another Dead Space game when I first saw it. I was like, "What? Are they making another Dead Space?" And then I realized it was from the previous developers. I was like, "Oh, no wonder it looks like Dead Space." And I'm 100% down for this because Dead Space 2 was excellent, and then they dropped off the map after Dead Space during Dead Space 3, which is why that game had so many
issues. You said during Dead Space 3 they
during Dead Space 3. And they were like, hey man, like Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2, right in the middle of the game, mass exodus. They were gone.
The developers took a vacation, huh? I'm pretty sure that's how it worked.
The developers said peace, we're out. That's what they said.
This looks kind of cool, and I'm sure like if they drop it before the remake of Dead Space, I think they might do pretty well. If they wait after Dead Space remake, I don't know. They might be in a little bit of trouble.
Actually, I don't think they.
I'm saying as far as similar-ish games dropping around the same time, I think more than likely people will go to the Dead Space remake than a new property like Callisto Protocol. I think.
I don't know. That's a tough one to call. Simply because Callisto Protocol, it seemed like Lost. Do you remember the game Lost in Space, or I think that was called Lost Planet? Do you remember the game Lost Planet?
No, that gives you more Lost Planet vibes. Okay.
It gives me more Lost Planet vibes because it's basically like you're killing zombies in like a bunker, and at some points you have to go out onto the planet's surface.
It was
plenty of ice. You got to put on a suit.
It was cool for the time, Dalan, but we're talking like early.
I'm talking about Callisto Protocol right now. I'm talking about
no. But what I'm saying is like the Lost Planet was cool for the time. I don't know if you go back to it.
Hey, Lost Planet was excellent. Don't hate on that.
It was. I don't think that aged well at all.
I don't know. I don't think. Go back, Dalan.
Part 3 did not.
Go back.
Part 3 was terrible.
Luis, what are your thoughts? I like someone corrected the Callisto Protocol. Thank you very much. Luis, your thoughts on what we saw, man?
Well, I didn't see the trailer. I've seen what I needed to see about this game when they announced it at the Game Awards. I already know enough about this game.
Blackout.
So it's not necessarily the same development team, but it is led by the lead developer, which is I forget how to pronounce his name, but Glenn Schofield. But yeah, he's the creator writer of Dead Space. This is a new studio called Striking Distance Studios, so I don't think they're really in cahoots of like, when are you going to release your game? We'll release it after. Like I don't think they even.
They might drop at the same time.
No, I agree. I agree with that, Luis. I don't think they're like, when are you drop? But I feel like. Well, I mean, I think this game's been in development for a while too. Is the other thing, right?
It has been. I know, because one of my friends got laid off from the team.
Oh,
but
okay.
That's fine.
We're sorry about that. Tell him to shoot us some comments.
Tell
us to shoot us some comments, and we'll make sure to say whatever he wants to say about it. Luis,
he seemed very excited about it when he was working on it, though. He seemed like it was some of his favorite work he ever did sound-wise. He's an audio engineer and a sound designer. Yeah. So
and they said
that's
your
what
job
I'm
is
mostly
done, go
excited
home.
about it.
Yeah, all right.
They kept some of them. So, I think he was a little bit too premium priced for what they wanted from him.
Okay.
But so I'm excited about that. The 3D audio stuff they'll do for the PS5 and the controller stuff with the DualSense. But I mean, this is a game that's coming out on PS4 as well. So You know,
Mm.
we don't know what necessarily to expect.
What's with the
Current
stink
gen.
face, Carlos?
Damn.
And just on that
Damn.
note, I went to the actual PlayStation blog and looked
Yeah.
at like the comments on it. The top comment on the post for the state of play is from a user called Nemicon with an Ellie avatar.
All right.
And it says, quote, "Where are the PS5 games when God of War Ragnarok release date? Another trash ass state of play and nothing for the PS5 owners. If I knew this was the plan all along, I would not even have bought a PS5. I do not need one and it is irrelevant. The only game I want is God of War and that is a PS4 game. Everything else is on Xbox or PC." So let's get on next gen, man. It doesn't seem like it's going to happen until another year
Well,
at least.
I think even PlayStation's talking about like we'll get there in 2025. Even PlayStation's like, man, we'll get there. Don't even trip. We'll get there soon enough. But Callisto,
No,
Protocol,
I
it's
assume
coming.
at
December.
some point there is going to be a split between the types of games that they release. There's eventually going to be PS5 exclusives again. They just started losing out on all these big company purchase battles because Xbox bought them all up real fast.
Well, I mean, part of it is it's not maybe justifiable yet. Maybe that they haven't hit even though I think Sony just said they sold 18 million, I think 18 million
like
PS5.
20
So they're still
PS4.
out there, but they got to get a mass like amount, and the developers themselves have to justify it too, right? It's like we kind of want to make this money back. So I think it just doesn't make sense in multiple fronts. We as hardcore gamers, right, want just specifically PS5 games, but it looks good. And like Luis just said, we got to look forward to the sound design at least on that. So make sure you wear your headphones December 2nd, right before Christmas too. Get spooked right before Christmas. The next one, Dalan, I know you play. I don't know if you played through it. I think you played through it, but
I did. I beat it.
Tunic is coming out for PlayStation September 27th. What do you think, Dalan? You going back and grabbing the trophies for this game? It was on Game Pass, by the way. If people don't know, it's on.
Absolutely not going back. You see, the game is damn good, but the game was already purchasable, and if I really cared that much, I could have went and bought the game. I already beat it, and I still highly recommend it to other players.
Okay.
That's what that is. I'm just highly recommending it. It's coming out for free. You might as well get it. Or
I don't know if this was for
play
free.
it
Yeah,
when it's there.
I don't know if this was
That's
for
what
free.
I meant to say.
Yeah, I don't. But
No,
but
it's
hey,
not free.
it's a nice little recommendation from Dalan. If you have Game Pass, if you don't have an Xbox, then this is your only option. Go for it. But otherwise, it's on Game Pass for free, or quote unquote for free. Next thing on here is Rollerdrome. That's coming out pretty soon, August 16. That's in a couple months. It looks kind of cool, man. It looks. I know people online were talking about it's like Tony Hawk with guns, and I'm like, have you guys played Tony Hawk? But it does look kind of cool.
Have you ever seen a roller derby match ever in your life?
It reminds me a little more Jet Grind radio with guns, but you know, it looks kind of cool. Luis, what are your thoughts on this, man? What piqued your interest here?
Yeah, for whatever reason, I look at the game and I just don't think I'll ever be able to get past the art style and actually like enjoy it. For whatever reason, the art style just does not resonate with me whatsoever. It looks very interesting. I haven't seen a game that looks like that or close to that in a very long time, but yeah, I just don't know. I don't know if I can get past
You haven't seen cell shading since like the early 2000s, man, where these consoles
It's not even cell shading.
No.
It's like specifically how like the style versus just the actual shader.
It reminds me a little bit of what's Deadpool, or was it Deadpool? What's the game we were playing last year that we were like or that I was like, I don't really like that one. The most arcane ass game to ever arcane that came out.
Deathloop.
Deathloop. A little Deathloop, you know, kind of a little darkish, cell shaded ish. Not the same level, of course, not the same level of details. Not a first person shooter, but it kind of gave me that throwback ish sort of vibe to it.
Nah, this is like on the level of Beautiful Joe. This is where this is at.
Yeah.
So what do you think,
it's very. It reminded me of. Hey, I can say it like this: if Flash Gordon was in this game, I would not be surprised. All right, so it looks very 80s-esque the way they actually did it, because it's that same type of post-apocalyptic Thunderdome thing that they got going on. So that's exactly what this game looks like to me. I was wondering if it was going to be a multiplayer like what was it? arena mode games. I thought it was going to be an arena, but I was delightfully surprised to find that it looks more like a one-player game if you're just trying to get
I'm
through a
down.
story.
I'm down for a camp, but it does.
Mhm.
Did they say it's a campaign game, or it just looks like it's a single player game?
And just from what it looked like a campaign game because I didn't see any type of
Yeah.
multiplayer aspect based on the trailer that was being shown.
Yeah, I'm down for that. But just the fact that how you were saying, like, it's roller derby, I feel like it might be a multiplayer game. But I'm down. If it's a single player game, I'm down. Multiplayer, we'll see what's up. But
they might add a race mode at some point, but I think their focus is going to be the campaign.
There you go. Next thing that we saw at State of Play was also Horizon Call of the Mountain. That's going to be for PlayStation VR 2. It shows up a little bit of the first person. It's kind of like a first person parkour game. It's definitely, I think this is going to be like the biggest. I feel like this has to drop day one, right? As far as PlayStation VR 2 is concerned. But what did you guys think? Luis, what'd you think of Horizon Parkour? Or Horizon VR.
I mean, it looks promising, but the one thing that I'm hoping I'm reading into it a little bit, just because it is like a trailer, right, for a gameplay trailer, reveal trailer for State of Play, but it seems like a lot of it is just going to be almost like you're on rails in a way, I guess. Enemy spawning, and they're in very specific, precise locations, and they look like they have specific and precise movements. So I don't know if the combat will be challenging enough, but I mean, it looks interesting. It looks like it has what do you call it? Like a good potential. So if this is kind of their reveal for the PS5 VR 2, whatever they're calling it, then cool.
I think so. I'm pretty sure, right? It looks like that's the amount of work and like that they're putting into it, right, to kind of it being like a premier AAA game or so. But you know, if you want a taste of like these on rail games, they did release what was it was Until Dawn something where it was a VR game, and that one's literally on rails or whatever. So I don't know if you ever tried that.
You're talking about the Carnival one.
Yeah, Carnival of Madness or Carnival whatever.
No, it's not Carnival. Isn't it? The word Carnival is not in it, but I know which one you're talking about.
Okay, the good job throwing that out there, like setting a trap for me.
Rush of Blood.
There you go. Rush of Blood. No Carnival involved, but yeah, that one's definitely on rail. That one was a little trippy though, because it actually like you're going up and down like as if you're at a roller coaster. Your head will hurt a little bit. As far as this one is concerned, though, Dalan, what are your thoughts for Horizon?
I don't think it's going to be on rails simply because you could actually see parts where they're climbing up rocks and having to slide down ropes and climbing up mountainsides and stuff like that. The only thing that I thought was exciting for this particular game is I don't have to look for yellow ledges anymore. I can just climb up stuff.
Okay, reasonable.
They'll still be yellow.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll still be yellow. No, actually, in the trailer there was no yellow ledge when I saw.
That rope looked yellow to me.
That rope was very yellow. I will give you that.
So there's yellow then, Dalan.
There is definitely yellow, but it's going to be. I will partially agree with Luis on the fact that it's going to be very linear. Because I think that as massive as this game is going to be, it's going to be like they're going to put you in tunnels and just make it look really pretty in the world of Horizon. That's what.
I mean, imagine how difficult it would be to put like actual Horizon 2 and just
drop you into that world,
and for it to
like GTA
and for
VR, right?
and for it to retain its like visual fidelity, right? To give you a completely Because if you guys remember Resident Evil 7, I don't know if you guys played it on PlayStation VR, but it took a hit. It takes a fidelity hit when you go to PSVR. It's just you're still gonna be tripping. It's still gonna be very scary just by the mere fact of it's immersive. But there's definitely a fidelity hit as far as these games are concerned. So the fact that how beautiful it looks, I think it's going to be somewhat limited, right? We're just going to find out how. So the next one, I kind of threw this in here because this was an IGN post, right? And they said, as far as the State of Play, they did announce Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 Retribution. They did announce that thing. But on an IGN tweet, they said coming at PlayStation VR 2 later this year. So I tried to look it up. I tried like, wait, are these guys confirming that PSVR 2 is coming out this year or not? I didn't see anything for it. I think it was just a typo. IGN, please, like, can you guys at least like put a correction or something? Because I didn't see them correct it at all. So I don't think it's coming out this year. I try to kind of get it to see it confirmed somewhere. As far as we know, I think this thing is it's not 2022, right? Maybe 2023, maybe early 23 is when we see PSVR 2. The other thing I will say though, I do have this game, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, the first one, and one of the biggest problems, the reason I won't go back to it on PlayStation VR is, like we were just talking about, the visual fidelity. This game looks rough. It looks rough as hell. So I think at least that's a step up, even for chapter 2.
It's losing pixels as we speak.
No, it's just the lack of detail, the nastiness of, as we've talked about before, the move controllers, that old technology. It's just not smooth. It doesn't look good. It seems like a decent enough game if you want to put up with that, but I don't. All right, Dalan.
It's put together with glue.
Yeah. So I'm glad to see PlayStation VR 2. At least it'll control much better. We'll move on to quick takes. Like we've said before, quick in quotes, but we do try to keep it quick around here. This one is for Luis. So there's going to be a Capcom showcase next Monday. That's June 13th at 3 p.m. This is from Nintendo Everything. They said the event will cover news and in-depth updates regarding previously announced games. It's expected to last about 35 minutes long. I would think we get a little bit more of an update for Street Fighter 6, but who knows, right? They didn't say. We might get a updated look at Monster Hunter, the next Monster Hunter game, but other than that, I'm not sure. Luis, do you have maybe some insight into this Capcom showcase?
No, of course not. Nothing,
Okay.
nothing whatsoever at all. I always forget about these, man. As soon as they air, I forget what they announce, what they talked about. So I'll probably have this on in the background while I work and tune in here and there if something catches, I hear something interesting, but I'm not necessarily looking forward to anything. And if they show anything for Street Fighter 6, I don't know if there'll be like gameplay reveal or anything like that. Maybe they'll just go into more of the story of the My Career mode or whatever the hell that is.
Nah, they're gonna show the adventure mode. Nah, they're just gonna show the same exact trailer again. That's what they're gonna do.
That's gonna be nasty. All right.
All right, we'll see.
So that was it. Luis, no insight then on this Capcom thing. You were like, you'll just have it in the background, see what.
Hey man, it's quick, Carlos.
Yeah.
Don't.
You're right,
man. I forgot my white boy terms.
Whoa.
Case
Next
of the
thing,
Mondays
the
indeed.
case of the Monday since Friday afternoon. Dale, we've been dealing with these Mondays. Next thing on here, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. We got a couple more details for that. They'll have their own Pokemon professors, Sada and Turo, respectively, and apparently it will allow for 4-player co-op. The games drop November 18th. Luis, I know you're the Pokemon aficionado around here. I'm kind of down to join you though, man. Are you grabbing this thing? You grabbing it? I kind of am interested in this co-op situation because they haven't had co-op, right? 4-player co-op, let alone even like 2-player co-op.
Yeah, I mean they've had like battles and you can trade and things like that. Those have kind of been staples since pretty much the beginning. But it might be hard to do co-op with me because I haven't been paying for Nintendo Switch Online for a while now.
Okay.
It's been probably more than a year at this point.
All right.
I don't know. I'll have to wait and see more from this. Maybe this will be the reason I'll drop the little tiny basic version, $20 a month or a year or whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, I'm getting this day one. I haven't seen anything. I've seen a fat little pig Pokemon around Twitter, but that's about it.
I like how people very quickly were like, "This would be a nice little roasted pig." I was like, "Okay, reasonable." Dalan, please, you can put your hand down now.
Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. That's what I was trying to remember.
Wait. Oh, that's okay, Dalan.
That was the phrase.
All right, Dalan. Okay, that was 5 minutes later.
I was thinking about it. I was like, what the hell was that phrase?
Don't leave them in suspense. Whoever's listening.
That's a gift horse of a different color.
This is okay. Mixing up the metaphor. Hey, don't be messing with me, man. I don't know them. All right, I didn't grow up with them. All right. But yeah, I think this is definitely one of those. I hope I get into it. But maybe like any other Pokemon game where I got like high expectations, I play for it for about an hour or two, and I'm like, you know what, I've seen enough. But if Lisa's around, if you happen to get the online situation sorted out, maybe a little co-op. We'll see. Dalan, you're not picking this up. You're not even for co-op.
Damn. All right. I guess I won't.
No, I'm asking you. I mean, it's a question. It's aggressive.
No, that was not a question. That was a blatant ass statement.
No, it's aggressive.
Said, no, Dalan. You're not picking. No, I'm not picking it up.
All right. See, I mean, look, did I not make the right decision to attack you?
You did, but I don't like how you came at me, bro. Don't at me. Move on.
We can move on. Sega producer Yosuke Okunari has confirmed that the reason the company didn't pursue creating a mini Dreamcast or Saturn is because, quote, both developing and manufacturing new chipsets during the pandemic is a difficult and expensive process. That's straight out of Eurogamer. I know last week we kind of did title the podcast as like Dreamcast Mini ? These guys keep upsetting me like to the highest manner, man. Like Sega is like, where is this thing, dude? At least the Saturn Mini, at least something, dude. But I like the fact that they come out and they're like, you know what? We just can't do it, man. It's this pandemic, a new chipset. We just can't do it. I'm like, I hate you guys, man, because it would be. I already know. I would buy these things for like 1 or 2 games, man. For Saturn, Panzer Dragoon Saga, that thing's like $500,000 at this point. I'm sure it's like it's kind of a spiritual prequel, Dalan, spiritual prequel to Skies of Arcadia, and for Dreamcast, of course, the Skies of Arcadia or something like that. So even just for a couple games, but yeah, they don't want to give us nothing, man. Pandemic and the chipset situation. Dalan, what do you think here, man? What's your thoughts?
They could develop it, and then even if they can't get all the chipsets that they need, they could at least perfect it or at least improve upon it so that we don't get a mess of a PS1 mini. So it's not coming out with a bunch of little emulated Dreamcast games that look terrible and don't function properly.
That's true,
so
right?
They can work on it.
Yeah. I think maybe that's part of it too, right? It's like people haven't, because there's no, well, it's a little in the gray area, right? But there's no good Saturn emulators, right? Or no good Dreamcast emulators, right? As far as you know,
exactly. Well, there's a good Dreamcast emulator, but it takes work to use it.
But you would think like they have one ready to go, but maybe they don't, right? As you find out with Sony and how or Nintendo even with their N64 stuff, that half of the stuff is like they gotta update it a week later. Like Star Fox, I think, was the last big thing that they're like, this thing doesn't work as it's supposed to. So, and Nintendo, they like to resell some of this stuff, so it might even be harder for Sega. Luis, your thoughts on this situation here?
Well, I'm more interested in the phrasing here. I wonder if this is a direct quote from him, Eurogamer, or if it's from the interpreter during this interview or whatever. Because they said, has confirmed that the reason the company didn't pursue creating. So if they said that they're not considering pursuing it, does that mean that they're not going to do it at all, or if they're just delaying it until the opportunity arises for, cost and all that?
Yeah.
Wait, man, they can wait as long as they want. The moment they do it, those things are going to get bought up.
Oh, I'm there.
I mean, Carlos's point with
Prue,
Sega.
I'm hitting you up. Don't do it.
Luis, please. I'm interested in what you're hearing, but Dalan's in.
To Carlos's point, these guys keep disappointing him ever since the original Dreamcast way back in the day.
Yeah.
It's short-lived. Rip in peace. Pour one out for the homie. I don't know if they'll actually do this. It seems like they might not. But we'll see. We'll have to wait a year or two and see what happens.
They should just tell us no, right? Like, stop keeping the dream. Pun intended, Dalan. They should just kill the dream. They should kill the dream. No, they should just kill it. If they're not going to do it, they should just kill it, all right? Like Rockstar. Hey, Dan, put the camera on me. Stop logging into GTA 5. But Rockstar, if you're not going to make a GTA 6, just tell us. You're not going to make it. It doesn't make economical, fiscal sense. Oh, they already said they are. Dalan, they're keeping the dream alive. What were you saying before we move on real quick? Or was that it?
No.
Okay, next thing. So they didn't announce the Dreamcast Mini, but they did announce Sega Mega Drive Mini 2 for Japan. October 27th is coming with 50 games: Fantasy Zone, Shining Force CD, Sonic CD, Virtual Racing, and, quote, mysterious new works, end quote. Whatever the F that is, man. I hope it's Dreamcast titles in there. All right, I hope there's something going on there, but that's what they announced instead. Sega, I hate you guys. Next thing on here, fans call for Sonic Frontiers delay after quote unquote soulless gameplay reveal, and that's the Eurogamer headline there. There was John Linneman from Digital Foundry. He did tweet out this kind of interesting quote, and this is the guy Digital Foundry kind of puts these new consoles through the ringer, right? How good is the FPS? How good is the graphics and all this stuff, right? He says, quote, I gotta say this video Sonic Frontiers has real hire this man Nintendo energy. It feels very much like an Unreal tech demo with the Sonic character model tossed in. I see some potential in certain aspects, but I'm surprised they would release footage this unfinished. Luis, we'll go to you first, man, as it's our resident developer here. Do you agree? Do you agree that this is basically like a tech demo and they kind of slapped it together, or what are your?
That's exactly what it looks like,
Yeah,
honestly. I remember it was one of the first things I saw that morning. I woke up, opened Twitter, scrolled a bit, and then I see Sonic, and then immediately I'm like, "Oh, damn, new Sonic!" And then 15 seconds in or whatever,
yeah,
I'm thinking, "Oh, that's a lot of empty space. It's just a lot of grass." And
yeah,
then he kind of runs somehow, figures out where to run to like go to this tower thingy. It does look. I'm hoping that it's more like a vertical slice of just mechanics
yeah.
versus like an actual. This is a level that you play in the game, because it does look very soulless and empty.
Yeah, and
Um,
you know,
that's pretty much it.
I was seeing the trailer of it, and for some, I don't have the developer mind. You know, you're able to break down that beautifully. For me, it just looked off. I was like, this is wrong somehow, right? Like I was like, it looks kind of pretty, but it's just wrong. Like, how are they figuring out how to get up to the sky or whatever? I know even people online put in like that background. I think was it Windows XP where it has like the rolling green
Oh
hills,
yeah.
and then they just did like scrolls, like black like circles in the sky. I was like, yeah, that applies here. But Dalan, what are your thoughts, man? Like, is this just nonsense, or you thought the same, that it's like this looks empty?
While I was watching it, I was also getting something to eat. But
Important
I turned
detail
my
to the story.
very important, because then I turned to Nicole. I was like, Nicole, have you seen any enemies in this trailer at all? She was like, No, I haven't. He's just been running around and jumping on these platforms. I don't know what he's trying to do.
Yeah,
So
it's rough.
for this game, it's very monotone, and so far without actually having any type of enemies in it, I'm thinking to myself, they should just go talk to Insomniac, because with Ratchet and Clank, they did one planet where you had hover boots and you're just boosted everywhere. I was like, they need to make Sonic like this. This would be much better.
Yeah, there's a couple things to this thing. Well, at least one that kind of stands out is the fact that.
It's empty.
One of the things is it's funny that the fans are like, delay this thing, and I think they're hoping they get like the Sonic the movie type treatment for this, but I think that's a little different than the game, right? Like, let's delay this game, which I don't know, maybe they do, maybe they kind of go back to the drawing board a little bit, or figure out some other ways to go about it. So that's the first thing I thought. The other thing that I thought was, I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast in the last couple of weeks, but I remember Sega saying like, we're looking for high marks, we're looking for high reviews for the next Sonic game. It's like, you're already off to a rough start.
Hey, all they gotta do is fill in the space. They have so much space to work with. Throw some enemies in there like Breath of the Wild. At least in Breath of the Wild, you would accidentally run across those little encampments with whatever those grub things are called, and you'd have to fight those.
Yeah.
In Sonic, you don't even got that. Or at least like, this particular demo, you don't have that. You just got grass. You might hit a rock. Don't trip on a rock. God forbid. I'd love to see Sonic trip and fall in that game.
Wow. That's you went far with that.
Hey, you should go ahead and apply to be a level designer,
there
Dalan.
you go. Dalan. You got it all figured out. It looks like you got it all figured out. It looks like you have it. Luis, what do you think, man? Do you think they got a lot of work to do? They're not gonna release it like this, right?
Oh well, if they do release it like that, probably not that much more.
Okay.
I would hope that maybe if that was their plan, that they take this sort of feedback that they're getting from the internet to revamp their game design and level design. But we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see
we'll see.
if that is the case. If if they don't plan on releasing, then yeah, they got a hefty amount of work to go.
They definitely gotta figure something out here. The next thing on here, so Diablo Immortal, that's like the mobile game that came out for Diablo, and which is like the first Diablo, or like the first Blizzard release in like a shit ton of years, right? Or something. Like somebody counted, I think it was Jason Schreier, he put out like in like thousands of days they haven't released a new game. But this is a mobile game, and there's some microtransaction negativity, which the director of the game says is based on misinformation. I didn't dig any deeper because I was like, I don't know. This is from The Gamer. They said there's over, like, for you to fully upgrade a character in that mobile game, it takes over $100,000 or 10 years to fully upgrade a character. So that's kind of, it's a little rough, but I don't know. It's misinformation according to the director. Luis, what are your thoughts on this here little situation?
Well, first and foremost, for those people complaining about this, if you don't want to spend the money or grind that much, then don't play it. There's other Diablo games for you to play if you want to do that. And if this is a free to play title, then of course there's going to be microtransactions. I don't think Blizzard is going to put in-game ads in their apps or design for that. But
The billboards.
they could put billboards out in Diablo, maybe, I guess.
There you go.
That is a lot of money, but I don't think they expect anyone really, or at least their average consumer playing this game, to drop 100K on this game or play 10 years straight. But yeah, I think from what I've been hearing from people at work that have been playing it, it's not meant for you to sit, and grind for 4 or 5 hours a day like on your phone. It's, pick it up, do a little quest, put it back down, and then go back to your business. So I think
Yeah.
it's fine for a mobile game, especially if it's free.
So as far as do you think that's maybe what the director's saying based on misinformation, or I understand like what you're saying. The scope of it is really to like you're just having fun for a few moments in Diablo in this like world, right? Like it's on your phone, pick it up for a few moments, but at the same time it is there, and of course they are digging for these whales, right? Like that's really what it is.
Yeah.
They have these whales out there that might actually drop that much, right? But you feel like that's maybe what it is. The director saying like, you guys are kind of pushing.
Well, I don't know about misinformation. They'd have to clarify that a little more. Maybe there's more to this quote. But I mean, you have to remember when this game got announced at BlizzCon years ago, it got booed on stage, like at
That's rough.
BlizzCon by
That's
people that
rough.
were there. So
Yeah.
they already had an uphill battle. So I'm assuming they took that into consideration when designing these mechanics and the grind and leveling system and all that. So maybe that's what he means by misinformation. Maybe there's faster ways to level up, or you don't need to do in-game transactions. I don't know.
To just kind of have fun with it or whatever, right? To enjoy it as we intended. Next thing we have on here is Xbox is doing a second quote-unquote extended showcase with new trailers and deeper looks, which they're already doing one June 14th at 10 a.m. It's going to be a 90-minute like Microsoft plus Bethesda type of showcase, but they're like, no, we're going to give you a second one. So it's going to be kind of juicy that day, like this E3 week that's coming up, because this is when E3 would be happening right now, right? Like it's Monday right now when we're recording, but Sunday Microsoft should have already kind of had a presentation, right? But or I guess this week coming up, right? So this is a non-E3 week happening. Are you looking forward to this, Lisa? This kind of little multiple looks of Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly that what you're saying. It feels like there really is no need for an E3 at this point. It is just like these developers still somehow agreed upon, or maybe it was coincidence of just like releasing all these state of plays, Capcom coming out with theirs, and now Microsoft doing two seemingly back to back. But yeah, it feels kind of cool to have like a rush of news and trailers and reveals coming out around the same time, similar to E3. So that's kind of more
Yeah.
what's got me excited.
And maybe PlayStation might have already kind of, I don't know how correct it is, politically correct it is, but they kind of blew their load already, right, with the state of play, I would think. Or you think they might have something up their sleeves coming up this week? I think state of play was kind of big.
Know.
Whether you kind of agree, disagree, or you didn't like some of the reels, but that might have been it, right? This past.
Yeah, I'm probably. I mean, they might drop tidbits here and there on their blog and Twitter and socials and stuff like that throughout the week to like follow up news to it, but that might have just been theirs. Like I think they're done.
Yeah, and I think the other one coming up this week, it's actually on Thursday, I believe. It's Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest. That's also kind of a big thing. But he did say, quote, manage your expectations. And that's from a headline from VGC. But I do like how Jeff Keighley responded to them. And he was kind of like, wait, look, man, that's a correct way to manage your expectations. But we did show Elden Ring last year. And he was saying, like, it was the first time you saw in-engine footage. So he's saying manage your expectations. But I think at the same time, it's like, we're going to get some physical, like, demos, right? Like we're gonna see some gameplay in this. Maybe not the biggest thing, some of the maybe not the biggest reveals, but some of the things that we're getting, of course, is I don't know if it's specifically a part of his show or maybe it's just a coincidence. Or no, he did say that there's a Modern Warfare 2, the first campaign demo is gonna be at his show, Callisto Protocol game demo, Gotham Knights reveal. So there's some stuff that we do know about. I think it's mostly like we're gonna get a closer look at it, right? Is that kind of what you feel like it's what it's gonna be, Luis? I guess the Summer Game Fest. More like, okay, we're getting some gameplay.
Probably. I didn't honestly put much thought into it until he came out and said manage your expectations, but don't manage your expectations. It's like, come on,
Yeah.
like, you probably just wanted to. He was about to turn people away from I won't check it out live, and he's like, damn, I gotta bring him back somehow.
Hold on, how do I?
So yeah, we'll see. I mean, maybe the one thing
Gotta
I'll
bring it
care
back.
about is Modern Warfare 2. That's kind of something I always watch, the Modern Warfare Call of Duty stuff.
Yeah.
Callisto Protocol, I don't know if I want to see too much. Like I said, I want to kind of go in there fresh
Yeah.
and be surprised.
Do a little
I've been
black
reading blog posts and stuff about it, but yeah, seems like there'll be some cool stuff there.
What about you, Dalan? You kind of you tuning into Jeff Keighley's thing? Kind of get some Modern Warfare 2. I guess you're not too hyped about, right? Or maybe you are. Maybe you want to see some campaign stuff.
I'm not as hyped as everybody else because I know the only thing that's gonna happen is everybody's gonna buy Modern Warfare 2. We're all gonna hop in multiplayer and just murder everybody else. That's it. That's all that's gonna happen.
What else?
I don't need the campaign. Well, don't get me wrong. I want a campaign, but I don't need a campaign myself.
I need that campaign. That's the only way I'm gonna buy your game. Need that campaign. Jump into it. Prue is gonna be like, I already know. Prue's gonna be sending me game invites. Are you joining? You just no. I have not beat the campaign. I have to beat it first. But I know people rip it open, right? People rip up these games open, and the first thing they do is multiplayer. Some people I know, they don't even touch the campaign, right? They're like,
that's why they give you the option to download one or the other first.
Yeah, they know that's what people do.
My thing about Modern Warfare campaigns is that they all ended up feeling the same. Like ever since World War II, I believe that I'm not even sure that was specifically Call of Duty, but I remember World War II came out, and that was the one that they introduced the dogs or whatever. And I had fun with it. World at War. That was sorry, it was the World at War. I was saying that World at War. Ever since then, all the campaigns essentially felt the same to me. You got a bunch of blurry images. You can barely see in the distance. You might be in the desert. You might get shot up really fast. Hey, man, all those campaigns, close quarters, in the dark, and the story I could barely follow half the time.
I mean, Luis, can you talk to this man just for a moment before
I mean, he clearly did not play Advanced Warfare, Infinite Warfare.
With Kevin Spacey, who's been outed, of course. He's been outed
Troy
of
Baker.
the world.
Well, I'm gonna back up and I'll say I did play Advanced Warfare. I did not play Infinite Warfare.
Look, Dalan, and I'm not gonna defend them as if like there's some like incredible like spectacular.
That's the problem.
Thing. But they're they're a summer. Yeah, but you're saying they're all the same. They're not all the same. But they are summer blockbustery. They're not gonna make you think that hard. And Modern Warfare though kind of did like you're gonna shoot some Russians. Are you sure you want to look at this? They did some of that, but
we can get another Rambo movie and see if it turns out different.
But for the most part, it's a summer blockbuster and it's nice. They put some thought. It's a nice little 2, 3, 4 hour campaign. I won't defend them too strongly, but I think you're welling out with the like they're really just like completely like blah.
No, I feel like they're very much the same. I tried to play 2 different campaigns. I was like, you could have thrown this campaign into this game and it would have been the same thing. I would have felt the same way. So they don't really do anything new with these campaigns for me.
I mean, we'll see, right? But I'm there day one, and give me a campaign. I need it in my life, please.
Hey, give me new mechanics. That's what I want.
It's a shooting game, Dalan. No. I mean, Dalan, you shoot in the game.
He said, "No, I want new and improved."
They tried that.
They tried that. And you didn't
with Infinite Warfare, Advanced Warfare, and people hated
it. They did it for a couple games, and Dalan didn't pick it up because it's all the same. And they're like, Dalan, we're giving you new mechanics.
They threw that one into the future, and it was basically like, we want to be Halo, and no, you can't be Halo.
But they gave you something different.
They tried.
They tried to pull you in. But so they did. We're getting some Gotham Knights situations going on Thursday. But there is another thing, and I think you got more details on this, though, right, Dylan? But there's so the Gotham Knights game is trying to distance itself from Gotham Knights, the TV show. And this is quick takes, Dylan, but try to be a little concise with what's going on here. There's a Gotham Knights TV show, I guess. First, there's
the Gotham Knights TV show coming out, and simply because outright and in the trailer, and small spoiler alert if you haven't seen the trailer, Batman dies right at the beginning of that Gotham TV series trailer.
Okay,
and they make it
small spoiler.
That's
dude.
not a small spoiler. That's not
hey, at least in the Gotham Knights game, they make it seem like Batman has died at the beginning of this game. Mm-hmm. We don't know what really happened to him in this particular case, and so when it comes to their connection, and people ask them, hey, did you guys have anything to do with the Gotham Knights TV show? They were like, no, we didn't. We're not gonna have anything to do with that because their story is completely different from ours. We're not gonna help them. They put themselves in their own little bubble.
So is Gotham Knights like off a book? They are pulling from the same source material, or
yes,
okay.
they're pulling from the same concept, being that Batman is gone and the heroes that are still there have taken his place as a team of 4. That's what it is.
Right.
That's what the whole concept is. And for the TV show, it is a team of 4 that is like the kids of all the heroes and bad guys out there trying to actually like the kid. I think it was like the son or the daughter. I can't remember who. I should say I should remember the trailer a little bit better than what I do right now.
Really should.
But I can't remember if it was Harley Quinn's daughter or son. But apparently, Harley Quinn's kid is a big part of this. And
Maybe
I was like,
daughter shows up.
Hey man, hey, Ken's daughter, let Ava show up. That's fine.
Okay.
But the fact is that these characters didn't really exist. So Gotham Knights is basically going the way that the Gotham series did. If you remember the Gotham series, how they did the prequel and they tried to do something new. The Gotham Knights TV show is trying to do a sequel to everything and try to do something new. And the video game creators were like, we'll stick to the comic material.
Well, I mean, and Gotham Knights is kind of like what is that, UPN 13 or something like that type of, it's kind of on basic TV, right? So, I mean, I don't, that's not to say there's some good stuff that comes out of there, I'm sure. But maybe I think it's a matter of quality, right? Like they're like, nah, hold on, we're trying to do something nicer here. You guys are, don't touch us with that. But there's some confusion, right? At the very least, they came out and they're like, all right, let them play over.
It's like, no, we are not connected to that TV show whatsoever.
Thanks for that not minor spoiler at all, though, Dalan. But I mean, we should know better. We should know better. Next thing that you should know better, though, is that the Prince of Persia remake got delisted, and as Kotaku put it, delayed straight to hell. These guys do with their headlines, they be pushing it, but I like it. So it's been delayed straight to hell. Amazon and GameStop stopped taking pre-orders for this thing, and they also came out and said we are, quote, no longer targeting a fiscal year 23 release, which that is kind of weird. Fiscal years are a little weird, so it could still come out in 2023, but maybe like late, right? Maybe fall.
Do you know what year we're in, Carlos?
No, but what I'm saying, fiscal years are different, Dalan. Like how people assume, like businesses are considered like in different whatever. Anyways, what I'm saying is potentially.
I like the fact that you were going to say 2013. You should have said it.
Oh, I got you. No, I'm very confused on those dates. But I do, delay straight to hell, huh, Kotaku? This thing is. It's not coming out anytime soon, Dalan. Like it came from like it's coming out. I had it on like GameFly. We're both on GameFly. Where's our sponsorship, GameFly? We're still waiting on that. I had it like the beginning of this year, maybe like middle of last year. It was still like, yeah, you're gonna get that game. So it's rough out here. But what do you think, Dalan? Are we ever getting this game?
Probably not. I pre-ordered this game at the end of last year at GameStop, and they called me earlier this week like, hey, Dalan, you pre-ordered this game, and it was canceled. So you got to move your money somewhere else. I was like, what?
Reasonable. How much?
So it didn't just get delayed to hell. It's effectively... what was that word that you used where it's just it's indefinitely delayed?
It's rough right now. How much did they charge you for that? Was it a full 60 on that or 60 something?
It was actually a full $60, but I only put $15 down on it. But the fact is that this game ain't coming out anytime soon. We're gonna just have to transfer money. And
what did you transfer it to, by the way? The Gotham TV show? Did you transfer it to that?
Absolutely not. I am not supporting that show in that particular way. But no, I haven't actually decided where to put it yet. They were like, you have time to make a decision. I was like, okay.
Why wouldn't you have time? Because they invest that money, right? It's been sitting there and they've just like been banking on making interest on that money that you gave them for free that they're just holding on to.
Well, they're not going to charge. They're not going to take away my money. They've already told me how much money I have. They won't take
it away.
So
they've made money on your money.
They're not gonna refund me at all. They're just gonna be like, you want a pre-order or something? Do you want me to put it on a GameStop card?
Interesting. Luis, what do you think, man? This isn't coming out right at all. But you know.
I think it. Well, I don't know. At this point, it all depends on how much money they've lost on it already. I think they'll have to take
True.
that into consideration.
Mhm.
But at the very least, if they do plan on releasing this at some point, the good news is that it seems like they're going back to the drawing board rather than starting from whatever template they had from the developers that were working on it already.
Yeah.
So if it does come out, I have faith that it will be a better game. But yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see if they'll weigh their odds on if they think they'll make the money back when they do release it. So.
Yeah, I think that might be. I mean, that would be preferred, right? I know Dalen's been waiting on it, and we're excited for you, Dalen. But I think yes, the hope would be go back to it. Let's really clean this up. Let's really make this kind of what the essence of that game was, right? And bring it up to modern. Modern times. Something rough must have happened, though, right? Because I think it was supposed to be a clean sport.
Something rough must have happened.
It was supposed to be a clean port, right? Luis, do you remember kind of a little bit of what they were? It was supposed to be just a clean.
It was supposed to be an HD remake.
It wasn't gonna be.
They
They didn't promise the stars like what's the name on No Man's Sky? They were like, no, it's a straight up port. That's what we're doing. So something along the ways they were like, we got to think about this. Right? I know Dalan wants this, but does everyone else want this? So maybe that's what.
Hey man, you can continue a game as long as one person keeps logging in.
True.
Damn. I mean, it's got to be a Square Enix game, though. And they're going to make DLC for it. They're going to make DLC for it for the one person. The next thing on here, this was not going to be for one person. This is going to be for a lot of people, I feel. But the Mario Kart ride is officially coming to Hollywood Super Nintendo World. That's, I think we have basically kind of when it's opening, right, Lisa? Early 2023 when Super Nintendo World invades Hollywood Studios. Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
I know you're a fan
Universal
of
Studios.
Universal. There you go, Universal Studios.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're kind of a fan of this place, I believe, Lise, or maybe you have like a year pass or something. I thought it was gonna be an original thing for it, but no, it's already out in Japan. So I think they're just confirming. Here we're gonna have the cart ride.
There's videos of the Mario Kart ride.
Yeah, we're gonna have the cart ride. But are you hyped, please? Is this it's Universal Studios?
Yeah, I mean this has been out for years at this point in other locations. So, I guess it's good to hear that it's confirmed. But like, what else were they gonna do at Universal Studios Hollywood? Like, of course they're gonna put the Mario Kart ride.
Yeah.
That might be the only thing they could fit there, dude. But every time they add an extension to the park, I'm surprised that they find anywhere to put things. I'm like, where are they going to put Harry Potter? Oh, it fits right there. Where are they going to put Mario? Oh, it's okay. I guess it's next to Transformers.
They've got plenty of land, Luis. They're not.
No, it's pretty
built
limited.
On a weird ass area.
Yeah, it's pretty limited. And the problem is that they remove things, right? Like they remove things to make way for new things, which is like, okay, well, I kind of still like that old thing, right? So they just
It's
kind
like, I'm ready to get on the Back to the Future ride. Oh, I'm sorry, that doesn't exist anymore.
No, now it's The Simpsons, dude. But yeah, I mean, I just went recently. I think it was like 2 weeks ago or so, and you can kind of see it when you take the escalators down to like where Transformers, Mummy, Jurassic World is at.
To the
you
lower
kind of
part.
get a bird's eye view of like the Nintendo area, so you can kind of look over the fence that they put next to it and just see like the mushrooms and the little bricks and everything around. It looks pretty cool, man.
Right.
So yeah,
Luis, did you ever watch the video for Super Mario World, for Super Mario Land, or Nintendo, whatever the hell they call it? Did you watch the one for Japan?
I saw better things than that. I saw behind the scenes from the lead producer himself that worked on the Mario Kart ride. So
okay.
No, yeah. I'm just talking about for Super Mario World in itself, not specifically just the one.
I saw
ride.
Like stills and stuff. Looks pretty similar.
And you didn't see the video where they give you that little bracelet where you're supposed to be able to do power ups and find secrets throughout the whole land.
It takes your high score, dude, on your Mario Kart ride. It puts you on a daily leaderboard.
It's on that bracelet, man.
Oh, you know what? I don't know if we said it on the podcast, but Dan's like a Mario Kart savant. I'm not going with you that day, man. If I hope to have a chance, you're gonna know how to drift. Like you can't even drift in this. You cannot drift in this ride, and yet Dalen's drifting.
Carlos,
away.
It's not the same. Don't even worry about it.
All right, we'll see. Next thing on here, so Japan finally got their PlayStation Plus Premium updated, and the games are confirmed to running NTSC, which means none of this 50 hertz nonsense, these 50 frame stuff that we were talking about last week. So yay. It's kind of the announcement that when we get these premium games, we should be good. We shouldn't be getting the tricky European 50 hertz nonsense over there, the PAL
Racial.
version. It's a little racial, but I mean, look, that's Europe. It's a big place, a big multicultural place. So I feel like I'm okay on that. Dalan, what are your thoughts here?
I told you it was a basic ass fix that they could have actually done, and they did it. And I'm glad that they did it.
Yeah, I'm sure you knew that, Dalan. You knew specifically that they couldn't just toggle
Yes.
we're giving them NTSC, which I think Luis has said that. Just give them the option. Or
I think we both said it.
Somebody mentioned just give them the NTSC version, which is, people cried wolf, and PlayStation were like, nah, don't worry about that. The next thing on here, free to play Super Bomberman R online is ending after just 18 months. They are no longer selling microtransactions, but the service will finally shut down December 1st. We were kind of hyped for this, Dalan. I remember, I don't know if we were on Wax at the time when this game dropped, a month and I think we were on Wax
we
talking
were
about it.
we didn't do it day one, but we went back and we tried to play it, and I kind of hate that online game version because we couldn't even play together. And at some point where we by luck ended up in the same game, we didn't know if we were ever going to run into each other.
Yeah, well, I mean, if
'Cause the
people
maps
don't
were so
remember,
big.
it was supposed to be kind of a King of the Hill or Battle Royale. It's supposed to be
Battle
Battle
Royale.
Royale Super Bomberman, which we were excited about, but we could not team up. We could not even be in like the same logo. That's all they had to do, man. And I think it would have been a success.
That
Now
would've
they're
saved
shutting
that
down.
game.
Now they're shutting down 18 months later because we were I think if we bought it or something, or we bought the microtransaction, we would have maybe been able to do it. But it was just, it was too wacky, dude. And it's sad. It's sad to see because that's a pretty damn good game. We're going back to this is actually one that the Saturn Mini could have. The Bomberman version of it, because I think that was a 10-player Super Bomberman, so that'd be kind of cool. So that's it for the quote-unquote quick takes, and then take that quick to get through them. We'll move on to what you've been playing. Luis, nothing to report here, or just a little more GTA?
GTA 5.
As
Okay,
per
fine.
usual.
Okay, hey, stop logging into GTA 5. I hope you can heed that call at some point, Luis. I hope you can understand that I just want Grand Theft Auto 6, man. I just want it.
No, I know what you want, and it's not Grand Theft Auto 6.
What do I want, Dylan? I mean,
I'll tell you later.
we're on Wax right now. You're gonna just throw that out there and not tell people?
Fine. You want a remake of GTA 3. You know you want that.
Oh no, I mean
They already did it.
They already did. It's called Grand Theft Auto 4. Dalan, what you been
No,
playing?
they literally remade it. I don't know what
Oh.
you guys are talking about.
Oh wait, are you talking about the recent, the one I'm about to talk about?
Yeah.
I guess a little bit. Yeah, did they though? Did they? Dalan, Tekken. What you played something? We'll get to what we were playing after you
yes.
mentioned what we haven't been.
All
playing.
right, so I have been playing Tekken. The only reason I bring this up is because there was apparently the news that Tekken 7 is now the highest selling game in the series, which is awesome. And it still has a generous lathering of Vaseline across the screen because it's still the PS4 copy. They just need to update this game. This game is still excellent game-wise and fighting-wise for a game. I know you like to call it dial-up combo and you prefer Virtual Fighter, which they tried to release, and they still kind of messed up the online gameplay for that.
Just let your friends play together easily. That's the only thing it needs, man. It breaks the ability to enjoy a game so hard. Just let your friends play together. Okay, my bad. Go, Dalan. Go. What's going on?
Hey, man, you need that proper net code, whatever it is.
That was good.
But Tekken 7, I went in and I started doing the extra stuff like treasure battle mode and stuff like that. I was like, there's a lot more to this game than I remember. But yeah, I was playing that, and I've been playing it with all the homies.
You said PS4, but you're talking PS3, right? I would think PS4 would look pretty damn clean.
No, Tekken 7 was a PS4 game.
Okay, and you get the sense of general. You're really spoiled by a PlayStation 5, man. I gotta look at this game now.
No. This was like early PS4, and you could see the pixels in it when you're trying to play that game, man. And you put it on the PS5, you could still see the pixels, like the hair for I can't remember her name. It was like Lydia. Her hair like came down, and it was supposed to be like to a sharp point, and it looked so jagged the whole way down. I was like, oh no.
You know who has beautiful models even years later? Virtual Fighter, man.
That's because they redid it. They rehashed Virtual Fighter.
Man. It's so nice. It's so nice. But yeah, okay.
But other than that, other than that, I've been playing House of Ashes
A little
with
co-op
you,
action.
good sir, as we've mentioned that we were going to do, and we definitely beat this game in a couple of days. I'm glad these games are kind of short because there's a good number of them, and apparently there's a whole plethora of them that are going to be coming out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they just announced 5 more of these games. Like, oh, okay, they haven't been. They got more. They got more. I wonder what like the pipeline is, or like the development pipeline for these type of games. Please, I don't know if maybe you could help us. You've seen what these games look like, right? A lot of it is, I feel, maybe motion capture with some gameplay in it. They must have it figured out on a development scale or whatever, that they're like, every year we're gonna release a pretty decent kind of walking simulator type of game, or what, or is it
Walking simulator.
what do you
Walking
do you
simulator.
think they got it kind of figured out in that way, or?
Well, I mean, they have to have some pretty great pipeline. Every single game is motion captured pretty much at this point, so I don't think that's and motion capture, every single piece of animation you capture with that has to be cleaned up in some way or another. It's not like it just goes straight into the engine. So I don't think that has anything to do with it. It probably helps. It helps a ton, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, other developers like, you know, the Call of Duty franchise, they're coming out every year. Madden, 2K, like all the sports games. So they have to have some sort of system that works for them.
They have massive teams though, right? I don't think it's in the name, super massive, right? But I don't think they have like as big of a Call.
Yeah, I have no idea about the size of their team, honestly.
Yeah, that'd be, and they are original stories, right? Every game we've been playing is pretty bespoke, right? It's not like it's just run of the mill.
They're all based on some. They're all based on some real story. But yeah, they're all their own little things. Like this most recent one. Of course, we'll get into it in a little bit. It felt pretty big, and they always have at least one really big actor or actress in it. And what I feel like they ended up doing is they just kind of did the motion capture for all 5 games, and then since then they've just been polishing it one by one.
What do you think, Luis?
I think that would
maybe does that hold water a little bit? Possibly. We don't know.
Don't know. I mean, that's a long time to hold on to animations, but maybe.
Yeah, it's a long time to hold on to animations. But if you do it all at once, then you could work on each game individually and just release them all.
Well, and what's
like
funny,
you have all the motion capture done all at once, and then each year you work on the next segment that you have recorded.
Well, and what's funny about House of Ashes is it's I don't know. I'm trying to keep it not spoilery, but it gets very Prometheus at some point. So it's very like Prometheus. So at the scope of it, like, is like, whoa, this is what we're looking at. Which, you know what it kind of reminded me of, Dalan? What's the Disney show that just came out, Moon Knight, a little bit, where it's like there's this whole underground thing that's not just what you see on the surface or whatever.
Hey, I tell you what though, the best part of that game to me was quite honestly the beginning. How they did the whole Egypt thing. I would have enjoyed an entire game just based in Egypt of all that kind of stuff happening. That would have been the game for me.
Would have been cool.
I would have enjoyed.
I enjoyed the fact that it becomes Prometheus at some point. I was like, yeah,
it becomes Prometheus. Yes, hey man, it could have become Egypt Prometheus. All right, that had also been awesome.
But yeah, I mean, as far as on the gameplay side, it's really, I think I like playing these games mostly because we're playing as buddies, right? And because it's a lot of story, exposition, and every so often you get some QTs, right? That's kind of basically what it is. You're pressing X. You have to breathe. So
and they go fast in this game.
Yeah. Oh, they're faster.
You off guard.
They expect you to be paying attention in this one because the last game we played was the little, I was like, oh, it's coming up. I got a moment to pick up my controller again. This one, you better be holding onto your controller the whole time. But, other than that, it has kind of like drag the gun over and press the R2 button real quick. But a lot of it, like we've mentioned before, a lot of it is based on just decisions, right? So we did a regular, you got a couple
we did
people
a blind
killed.
run.
We did a blind run. You got a couple people killed, right, Dalan? We've confirmed.
One, I straight up murdered myself.
Okay, got you. But other than that, we're going back for that everyone gets saved, and then we're of course going for the beautiful one, everyone dies. That's one of my favorites. We're working on that. Anything else, Dalan? Before I kind of give a quick, I just got a couple things to say on the other games I've been playing. But anything else, Dalan?
Hey man, Prometheus. Next game we're gonna be doing is The Quarry. Even though that's not actually a part of, even though it's not a part of Dark Anthology, it's not connected to Dark Anthology. It's a completely separate game. The next one's going to be the Devil in Me or something like that.
Did you? And we're caught up basically, right? Because this game came out.
We are
last
caught up.
year.
We're waiting for the next one.
We're just at this point. We're day one, I guess, for the next one. Did you Did you clip the thing from last week for the podcast for your friend Dalan saying that you were right? It wasn't tied into the dark pictures or whatever. Did you send him a little clip, Dalan?
Oh no, he's. Alan, I'm calling you out, man. Just listen to the podcast. You'll be okay.
All right. So House of Ashes, next thing, the quarry. I'm playing that thing day one, but I will be back there in that game when you guys join me online. Next thing on here, I did finish Vice City. I got the platinum with plenty of exploits. There's the last exploit I was working on. There is a mission behind like the first there. I do like how to get the platinum, I went back to the beginning. I don't know if you guys remember Vice City, but you're in that hotel that's straight out of like Scarface, right? That chainsaw scene from Scarface, right? So right behind it, there's a little like cone. It's called Cone Crazy, the mission where you have to like drive across like in basically the upstairs part of a parking garage, the very top level, and you're trying to not hit any cones. You're trying to make it during a specific time. Apparently there's an exploit in that game that every time you beat your record, you double your earnings. So you start at 100, 200, all the way to about $52 million just if you keep exploiting that little Cone Crazy. At some point, it turns out that you can move the cones around, but if you put your front tire in front of the cones in reverse and move it out of the way, you will not break the cone. So if you guys need a lot of money in Vice City, this basically the only way you get the exploit is you do that and you keep beating your record by 1 second and you get all the money in the world. That's what I got for the platy. Other than that, the one that took me the longest, the trophy that kind of annoyed me the most, was I call it the Wambulance. That's kind of the ambulance where you have to pick up people all over the place. Apparently the strategy is you have to pick up like the nearest person to keep getting more and more time. But knowing the physics in these Grand Theft Auto games, you will flip randomly.
All over the place.
You will flip randomly. The ambulance takes so much damage by the time you get to level 12 on that. You're picking up like 7 or 8 passengers. Not at one time, right? Because you have a limit of only 3 at a time. But a random car will just come and T-bone me. And I'm like, that's fine. I was on level 11. Now I got to start this thing over.
This is how Crazy Taxi works, but GTA style.
Yeah, but GTA style. So I definitely... There's quite a few things that I missed playing Vice City originally that I'm kind of glad that I went back. I was like, oh, damn. Like, for example, the stadium. I thought there was just a big old empty stadium, but no, apparently there's stuff in there. But you just got to be in there between 8 p.m. and midnight. So there's like a 4-hour window. And if you guys have ever looked at the time in Grand Theft Auto, it like ticks away, like it ticks away fast.
It goes by minutes.
Yeah, and the things in there, they're not super incredible, but it's kind of cool that they did have like can turn left for probably like 20-30 minutes. You can continuously, like a NASCAR race, you can do that, and there's other little activities that you can do. So I kind of, I took some days off, so it was definitely a lot of Vice City, getting the platinum in Vice City, and I'm going to Grand Theft Auto 3. I don't know how far I will get into it before it annoys me though, but that's kind of the next thing. And I'm starting off with the ambulance mission to get the Wambulance, because you get unlimited sprint. But is this what you were referring to, Luis, that they remade Grand Theft Auto 3? It is not remade at all. They cleaned it up a little bit.
Yeah, it is.
They cleaned it up a little bit. It's not as bad.
It's in a completely different engine. That's a remake.
It looks a little nicer. The lighting is kind of good. And I still agree. We said it last week, but it's like the internet sure is complaining a lot about like these remakes. They're just, they're not as incredible as you would like them to be, but they look a little nicer, a little cleaner.
Carlos, are you okay? I thought you died for a second.
I clicked on the little thing that Luis will have the audio engineer away. He's going to enjoy that one. We do have a zinger this week. This one's specifically for you, Dalan. I don't know if you've seen this yet, but Morbius, the meme machine, was out and about. I don't know if you guys saw, but I think it was like last week or 2 weeks ago. It was basically, there was a Twitch channel that was just showing this movie 24 hours. I don't know if it was for a few days, but it was a 24-hour period where they were just putting Morbius on Twitch, and people were commenting, they were BSing, the meme machine was up and running, and I guess Sony took it upon themselves to be like, maybe we should bring it back to some theaters. They brought it back to 1,000 theaters. They only made $85,000. That was on a Friday, so it kind of proves. I saw this on Twitter somewhere, but they were saying it proves that you can fail twice, you can bomb twice.
You can fail twice.
Dalan, what's up with these shenanigans here, man?
Morbius was a terrible movie. There's just everybody knows it was terrible. We'll talk about how it's terrible, and if the company is like, we don't care if it's terrible or not, maybe people want to go see the terrible movie and we can make our money back. Nope, nobody wants to see that terrible movie. This is not The Room. We are not gonna go do that.
This is not The Room, the movie, Dalan? Is that or
the movie?
Okay, interesting. You haven't seen it?
Morbius? Yeah, I watched it.
And it was as terrible as they say?
It was super cheesy. There was a bunch of special effects in the movie that really did not need to be there. There was only like one aspect of the movie where they did this foreboding thing with the lead female character, and then they cut off the movie, and you don't even get to see it.
Spoilers, but that's fine. Now, I've seen this on the internet, but do they say it's Morbin time at some point? Does someone actually say that it's Morbin time? So that could have saved it, I feel like that could have saved it. Luis, you haven't seen this movie, Morbius, and you will never see it, or have you seen it?
Probably won't.
All right, there it is. It's another Salient Points there. Number, what are we on? 71. Thank you guys for joining us. Some Carlos Macias. Oh, go ahead, Dalan.
Well, I just want to say the one thing about Morbius is that they actually do connect it to the Spider-Man universe.
They're not connecting anything, right? Like, this is like it's not an MCU joint. Yeah, but it's not an MCU.
I don't think they're not going to be able to really follow up this movie with another Morbius movie. Yeah. It's going to be, okay, let's just take the character Morbius now that the movie is out and exists, and let's use him in other IPs. That's the only reason.
I feel that, like, was it No Way Home, the latest Spider-Man? I think that was a kind of a one-off that Sony was like, yeah, we have these other Spider-Mans. Like, enjoy them. I think that's more of a one-off, dude. I mean, Morbin Time. And those were sort of kind of decent movies.
Morbin Time.
But I don't know about Morbin Time crossing over like that, man. But
hey, everybody just wants to see another Venom.
There's been a second one. They did a second one. We'll get a third.
I said everybody just wants to see another Venom.
Kirkwood.
I know how many there is.
I mean, there's two. Dalan Kirkwood from Up in the Mountains, thank you for joining us. I hope you got over your case of the Mondays a little bit, Dalan. I hope that
No, now you just upset me.
Damn. Okay. And Luis Mendez on the wheels of steel, thank you for joining us, sir.
Third Venom.
We'll see you guys next time. There's two of them, I think. Right, Dalan?
You're not listening, Carlos.